Talk. Hey, welcome to the Art of Relationship show, people. Going to be talking about the realities of marriage counseling. I hear people all the time about myths, about reality, about, yesterday, or I should say yesterday, last week, people talked about, or one person talked about, marriage counseling, didn't work, whatever. So I want to give the realities of marriage counseling, what to expect. And again, everybody's different. I'm going to give you my perspective of how it goes and the realities about it. And also that can help you if you are seeking marriage counseling, couples counseling with me. To me, it doesn't matter if you're married, not married, whatever. I'm going to give you some insights that will help, hopefully, you get the most out of marriage counseling, couples counseling, even premarital counseling, okay? So I want you to join in the chat down below, and I'm going to be right back after the intro, so don't go anywhere, people, okay? Appreciate you. Peace. Hey, welcome back to the Art of Relationship show. I'm your host, Greg Dudzinski. I'm a fully licensed professional counselor here in the state of Michigan, here in Detroit. Woohoo, right? I'm a relationship and sex specialist. Have been working with couples for over 23 years now, and I have a lot of grief, a lot of trauma experience as well. And I'm going to talk about the realities of marriage counseling. And a lot of people look at, what's it like, what that type of situation. I'm going to tell you what it is with me and how I think it should go professionally and what's going on. Again, nothing's perfect, nothing, not at all. Hey, Wendy, Lollipop, what's happening? Lucy, I appreciate everybody tuning in. And as always, I tell people, join in the chat down below, okay? Throw your questions out there. You can ask me about, hey, Greg, what should marriage counseling look like? What I'm, or if it goes sideways, if it goes this way, that type of situation, okay? And you can ask your questions about anything to do with love, marriage, relationships, intimacy, dating, let me know, parenting, okay? I used to also specialize with kids. I don't anymore. Severe, I can't even talk. Severe trauma, there we go, in kids and teens. I do in adults as well, okay? And it's not fun. It's horrific for a lot of people. So throw your questions down below, people, and ask anything you want about, marriage counseling, that type of. Serena, hey, appreciate you tuning in as well. So, marriage counseling, a lot of people, I joke around, but I'm also serious at the same time that nobody wants to seek out marriage counseling, right? It's like nobody wants to go to the dentist. Well, there are some people that might be a little bit weird, but, like no one wants to go to the dentist, doctor. No one wants to do marriage counseling because it brings up maybe your innermost secrets and what's going on and how you judge one another. Now, marriage counseling should not be judgmental. You get me? It should not be biased, but there's people in this field that are. Hey, Andy, what's happening? And the reality is you should stare. How do you know if someone's going to be biased, judgmental until you see them? The reality, let's face it, right? If someone is, biased, judgmental, you need to leave. Like you need to find somebody else out. Most of what I work with couples are, most people, they're facing divorce. Divorce papers are filed or just about ready to be filed. One cheated, both cheated, had an affair, some type of other betrayal. They're, arguing nonstop, mostly what I work with, okay? Work with the if you want, the hardest, the shit of the shit, if you will, okay? So also, hey, help other people out there as well, people. Share this on your page, on your timeline. I want to try to help as many people out there as possible, okay? So again, remember, join in the chat down below. Share this on your page, your timeline. Try to help as many people involved out there, okay? So again, therapists should not be biased, should be not judgmental. And if someone out there, say somebody, the wife, girlfriend, husband, boyfriend, whatever, cheated, and you have a therapist telling you that you need to leave, once a cheater, always a cheater, you need to get the hell out of their office right away, because that's biased, that's judgmental. It is not true. I'm going to be honest with that. It is true for some cases, but not all. And there's a lot of people out there. I visited a therapist many, many years ago and tore her, let's face it, just ripped into her, because one thing, it's unethical, and you're basing your information on what? Your own, not by research, maybe your own life experiences, and you're burnt because maybe your former husband, boyfriend, whatever, cheated on you, so you assume that. And that's wrong, okay? So a marriage therapist should not tell you if you should stay in the marriage or if you should leave. Their job is to help you decide what is healthy for you in that situation, okay? You have a lot of people that, well, you know, they'll try to dictate, or you have, okay, I'm going to bash them out here, Christian therapists, that they are biased, or for the most part biased. There's some that are not, that will tell them, well, you're Christian, the Bible says you need to be together forever and ever, and one spouse is abusive, maybe repeatedly cheating, on and off, right? Abusive, cheating, maybe don't show you your love, desired, respected throughout the whole marriage, but you're supposed to stay in that. My question is why? So you see, it's biased, it's judgmental, but you have to look at what is best for you and address your fears, your insecurities in a safe place, and to help couples talk to one another, to reduce the arguing, the yelling. Are you able to look at, you know, my role is trying to help couples understand one another better, right? Understand how good are you at learning what each other feels, what each other thinks. It's not about agreeing, people. You can disagree with each other, okay? So these are situations where I want people to understand and look at, you know, to get rid of the bias and judgmental. The first session might be emotional because people just want to puke everything out, right? I get that. And there was one individual last week on the show that said, you know, stay away from marriage counseling, that type of situation. And when one person has one ulterior motive, say they want to stay in the marriage no matter what, and the marriage therapist, me, is supposed to make their partner, him or her, stay in that marriage no matter what, or it's the marriage therapist's fault. I just said at the very beginning, right? It is to help couples decide if they want to be together, work together, and be happy together, a lot happier, right? Awesome. Or perhaps maybe help the couple realize that together they don't jive. But again, that is not our decision to make. That is your decision to make with the information that comes out, okay? So when you have certain individuals come into marriage counseling and they already know they're done, you know, I'm going to do a checklist and say I tried marriage counseling and it didn't work, but then there's no effort going in, and they already knew that they were done. Maybe they've talked to a divorce attorney, and their divorce attorney will tell them unethically, from my perspective, professionally, oh, go to marriage counseling a couple times, say it didn't work. At least it'll look good for the judge. It'll look good for the courts. That is being dishonest. That is being manipulative. And I don't play that, okay? I'm all about trying to help people and be honest and be open and not try to do a checklist. So that's what I mean about the reality of marriage counseling. You might have one, maybe you're out there listening, to where their ulterior motive is to do a checklist and not to make any effort, okay? They're not willing to make any effort because they have their mind made up, because their divorce attorney told them to. It'll look good on their behalf. You get me? So you have to look at the reality of marriage counseling and look at, what do you want out of it? You know what? And it's hard. Who are you going to reach out and seek, right? How do you know if a therapist is good? How are you going to know a marriage counselor is going to not be judgmental, not be biased? But that doesn't mean it's not my job, our job, to call the person out if they're maybe lying or trying something else, right? Hey, maybe you could have done something different than yell at her or yell at him, and all of a sudden the marriage counselor is a jerk. No, it's our job to be able to call you out and to be able to look at how you can do things differently. That's why you're there, hopefully. Hey, Jessica, Roger, what's going on? So it's very difficult and it's nerve-wracking for a lot of people, okay? I get it. I know that. I've been doing this for 23 and a half years now, and I tell people, I get it. No one wants to be here. It's nerve-wracking, right? Talking to a perfect stranger about this stuff. But it's looking at the reality of, what do you want out of it? And, you should not be in a situation where you feel like the therapist is taking sides. And there's difference between calling a person out on their stuff, if they've been cheating, if they've been lying. Hey, what's going on? What's creating the lying, whatever? Oh, you're taking sides. No, I'm calling you out and wondering what's going on so I can help stop that if that's what you want. Or it's calling both partners out on their issues. It could be anger issues, drinking issues. Maybe someone has severe anxiety and it creates problems for the marriage and the relationship and for that person's life. And to be able to address that in a kind, compassionate, caring manner, not to be mean, not to be a jerk, that type of situation. Well, your problem is that's why their marriage is... No, hell no. You're looking at the reality of marriage counseling to look at both of you are heard, okay? That you both are able to be heard and represented. That you both are able to, not only the therapist hears you, I hear you, that my job is also to help you hear each other clearer, better, to get through the differences of perceptions, right? And there's certain situations where, one person comes into marriage therapy and say they want more sex, okay? Let's be honest. Let's go there, okay? They want sex 3-4 times a week. And it could be a woman. Everyone assumes it's a guy that wants it more. That's not always the case. And the other person wants it once every 6 months. Okay? Literally. Once every 6 months, that's all they want it, and 1-3-4 times a week. And you have some marriage therapists looking at, well, that person needs to have sex more, or the other person needs to, be okay having intimacy once every 6 months. And I'm like, what? That's judgmental, that's bias, and you're telling each person that they need to give up who they are and how they want to be. Now, further exploration needs to happen about, hey, what's going on? What's causing it? Is there, the one with the less desire, we call it, is it a medical issue? Okay? Hormone issues, thyroid, any type of thing, fibromyalgia, is there endometriosis? I look at a holistic, I'm not a medical doctor, but I know a lot of medical issues that can play a role in that. So I want to look at all that, or that's just who they are and that's how they want to be. Then there's nothing we can do about it. Then you're looking at, well, Greg, you didn't make him be okay with not, just being okay with being intimate once every 6 months, or Greg, you didn't make him, want sex more than, more than once every 6 months. So it's the therapist's fault. And it isn't. It's just you're looking at the reality of, marriage counseling. Hey, Sir Sloan, what's going on, man? So it's very difficult when one person or both people have totally different ulterior motives and how you want to live. It's the same thing where, I use this example often. One comes, hey, Greg, we want you to tell us who's right. And I'm like, I'm like, oh no, here we go, right? But, one person wants a kid, the other one doesn't. And this is reality. And now they're mad at the marriage therapist because they didn't make the other one change their mind. You get me? So the marriage counselor, again, might be helping you decide that maybe together you don't fit well. You want different lifestyles. And that doesn't mean it failed, that marriage counseling didn't work. So you have to do a gut check and look at, everybody wants their way, right? Let's be honest, right? So when people don't get their way, they have to blame somebody else, the marriage therapist, their partner, all that stuff. Or do you look at the reality that, maybe we just don't jive together anymore, or we want to live different lives. And it's hard because in trying to get each other to listen to each other's philosophies, perspectives. That's our job, right? To look at, is there a compromise? In a lot of areas, absolutely. But it's also not our job to get the other one to sell themselves out. I tell people, it's, if you expect your partner to disrespect themselves and give up self-love, that's not healthy, and it's sort of selfish. And it's very, very difficult, people. It's not easy, right? So you're looking at these situations. Is there a safe place created? Let's be honest, okay? Where both of you can, and if there is arguing, that needs to be stopped or tried to be stopped, and to get more in a situation to where you can hear each other and actually listen to one another and not interrupt one another. Again, this is a goal, right? Not always easy, especially with the first session, but that's my job to try to tailor that if possible. And some people get very, they might be highly emotional, right? They might be easy to anger. So when you're looking at personality types and styles in the situation, you have to be able to manage these, or try to manage them. One person gets angry, one person's easily upset, starts crying during the session, and providing comfort, providing reassurance with that situation. But that doesn't mean, you lie to each other. You tell each other just what you want to hear. And I think a lot of people will look at the situation to where, hey, the marriage therapist is supposed to tell you what you want to hear. Or I go to an individual counselor and they tell me it's all your fault. Well, that individual counselor is lying to you, because it's very, very rare it's only one person's fault in a relationship, or that you can't do something different or better. So that marriage therapist or that individual therapist is just blowing smoke up your butt and telling you what you want to hear and not really helping you. I'll be honest with that, okay? And that's why I want people to, hey, Dennis, I appreciate you tuning in. So to help you out and look at some situations to, be able to look, and I have a thing, I should have printed it out, about maybe questions to ask, a marriage counselor, couples counselor. Like I said, to me, doesn't matter if you're married, living together, dating for years. To me, it doesn't matter. I want to help you get to where you want to be. And it's not according to me, the marriage counselor. I don't live your life. No one in this field lives your life but you two. But it's helping you, if possible, to get to where you both want to be. And unfortunately, part of that might get to a point where that doesn't mean you two stay together. Hey, Megan. So again, it's very difficult, but I'm giving you the reality where one person, I hear it all the time, Greg, we want to stay together no matter what. That's our job. Divorce is not on the table. Great, terrific. Now I'm going to try to help you not be miserable together. You get me? So, and also, if one of you are both okay, or one or both of you are okay about giving up your sense of self-love and self-respect, if you're okay with that, I'll do the best I can. And so you have to look at the reality about what do you want out of marriage counseling or couples counseling? What do you want to work on? What do you want to improve? And what do you want to change in the situation? And with marriage counseling, part of that is also healing past stuff. Let's be real, okay? And there's people that come in and they've been dealing with the same issue, or, oh my God, Greg, I get yelled at by her and this happened 10 years ago. Greg, he's still bringing it up, happened 15 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. I'm being honest, okay? And maybe people out there listening, watching, can relate, okay? So, and this is a situation where I look at, I don't want to dwell on the past. There we go. I had a brain fart. I don't want to dwell on the past, not at all. I want to help heal the past. And, our job is to, one person, I don't ever want to bring up the past again because they did something, maybe cheated, betrayal, yelled, screamed, maybe, pushed their partner and it was a one-time incident, but their partner's not healed from it, okay? Oh, I told you I don't want to talk about this. Well, if it's not healed, it's going to come up and bite you in the butt. I'm honest. I tell people I don't want you to have to talk about it anymore, so why don't we try to heal it so it can go in the past, so it doesn't be brought up. And part of that is helping each person of the couple dynamic, understand the importance of remorse. Are they able to show remorse? Are they able to take accountability for what they've done in the relationship? And taking accountability does not mean, well, I called you that name because you pissed me off. If you didn't make me mad, I wouldn't have, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I get you got a right to be mad, but you don't have a right to call your wife, your husband, these names. No. You get me? So my job also, when I said earlier, when I say about calling people out, it's about holding them accountable for their actions so you can heal, take accountability, and helping each individual of the relationship make it easier for them to take accountability, to own what they've done in the relationship and not make excuses or condoning it. Like I just gave you, right? Well, I wouldn't have cheated on you if you gave me more. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I get that. You got it right. I understand maybe why you cheated. That doesn't justify or condone it, though. So you have to look at, no matter how you were feeling, you still didn't have a right to cheat, right? Now, if your partner doesn't care or want to help improve that you don't feel loved, respected, desired, if they don't want to do anything to change that, then my question is, why would you want to remain in that relationship? You get me? And again, you know what? Would you be okay with your partner not feeling loved, desired, respected, appreciated, important, a priority? Would you be okay and you still want your partner to stay in a relationship or marriage if they felt that way? That's what I mean by holding them accountable and trying to look at the situation, what really works for them and what doesn't. And it's very difficult and it can be anxiety provoking for the couple. I get that, right? And it can be embarrassing. I don't want it to be embarrassing for anybody. And I tell people, I work with all walks of life. Everybody assumes, only certain people have problems. No, I work with, I'm not bragging. I'm very humble, okay? I work with people, men, women, they've been in prison. They get out and come to see me after they start dating somebody, get married. So I work with people that have been locked up for a while. I work with professional athletes. I'm flattered, okay? I work with doctors, lawyers, surgeons. I'm blue collar. I work with, factory workers. I'm blue collar. So I work with a lot of people, not to brag. People, I work with all walks of life. I work with highly religious individuals, be it Muslim, Christian, you name it. I work with atheist individuals. I work with Hindi. I work with Buddha. I work with, again, it's not, I want to help people get to where they want to be, and not should be based on bias and judgmental. And like I said, there's a lot of people out there that are in this field, and some of them are named as Christian therapists, and their main premise is to save the marriage at all costs, no matter what. And the couple is wrong, or one person is wrong if they want a divorce. They want to be done with it. And then it turns into that person's wrong, it's their fault, and it's sad, right? And it shouldn't be that way. It's looking at, hey, why do you want a divorce? Instead of, well, the Bible says this. No. It needs to be, no one lives your life except you people. So it's to create hopefully a safe environment that reduces the anger, the yelling and screaming, that you can heal. And going back to the past, right? I said we have to look at, is there genuine remorse for what you've done, and has that behavior stopped? And there's a lot of people that will bring up, well, I haven't done that and it's been a year. Well, you did it a year before that, you did it a year before that, you did it 6 months. So if it's a repeated offense, it's going to be harder to heal. Instead of expecting your partner, well, I said I'm sorry, now it's like starting all over again. It doesn't work that way, especially when it's a repeated offense, and it also depends on the severity of the action, right? If you hit your person, slapped your person, cheated on them, if you talk behind their back to your family member, right? So there's a huge challenge for them to own their stuff, make sure it doesn't happen again, or the partner will never get to a point where they'll be able to forgive you or heal and to be able to move on, because it's always there. Because you're showing, or that person's showing, that you don't care. It's all about you and how things affect you. So, also my job as, a marriage counselor, therapist, whatever you want to call me, shrink, is to help people, listen to one another. That's huge, right? Perspectives. Like I said earlier, to help you, hey, you know what? I get your partner was mad and angry. How do you handle it? Can you go after it and look at the situation where, hey, I want to know why you're mad? Because you're showing your partner, number one, you notice. Number two, you care. And are you going after it to try to heal and remedy that situation instead of making it worse? And it's easy when we feel attacked, right? Let's face it. We feel attacked, we're going to attack back. Some people shut down instead of going, hey, I care. Why are you mad about it? May I ask what I did? But that doesn't mean you get to yell and scream at me. So it's a therapist's job to redirect and try to put things in place that are different, that are going to promote healing and more healthy behavior, so the couple can reach for each other in a healthy way instead of reaching at each other. You get me? There's a difference, helping couples to come to each other versus at each other, and the yelling, screaming, all that hurt. Some people don't talk. Some people shut down. They want to avoid any type of conflict at all. That's not healthy either. And it's helping that other one reach out and have a voice, and to be able to hear their partner in a better way. Okay? So there's so much to deal with. with marriage counseling, if there's problems with in-laws, outlaws, we talked about, sex earlier. Not only that, again, you have different expectations. One person wanted 3 kids and one only wants 1 kid. And now what do? You get me? And you look at what's more important. I don't decide that. Each individual decides that for themselves. And now how do we get there? How do we get to that situation to where we compromise on a lot of things? Absolutely. Or can you compromise on the essence of who you are? What's most important to you? And part of that, I am huge on expectations, with marriage counseling as well. I want to know, hey, what's your idea of I can't even talk. Sorry about the brain fart. I want to know what your idea is of a healthy, happy relationship, okay? Or marriage. Not me. Not a textbook thing. I want to know what it is for you. You get me? For each partner. And hey, you know what? I can do that. Hey, let me pick this up. Let me work on this. Let me do better at this. That's where I want couples to be, if possible. But again, there are times where in marriages and couples where there has been too much damage done over the time. And sometimes it's, unrepairable, or the repair is being able to maybe the demise of the relationship or ceasing the relationship or marriage and being able to heal on that level. And honestly, that could be part of the healing process with marriage counseling or couples counseling as well. And a lot of people look at, it's a marriage counselor's job to make sure the marriage stays together no matter what. That is bias, that is judgmental in itself. And I'm honest about that, okay? And I tell couples left and right every single day, new couples, that it's not my job to decide if you stay together or not. It's yours. I'm going to help you get to that decision. I want couples, I want marriages to be happy, healthy. Again, not perfect, last forever. Woohoo, I would love that. But I also don't want people to remain in a marriage that's unhealthy, that's toxic, that is arguing, fighting all the time, that's abusive, that one person is cheating on the other one all the time or constantly. That's not healthy, right? And cheating, there's marriages, right? Couples that are in open relationships, they're swingers. That's not cheating. So you need people that is not biased against different lifestyles, right? Now, that's not cheating if it's consensual. Both parties agree to have a certain lifestyle and they set their rules and parameters for that. It's when one person steps outside those boundaries, those parameters that go against the rules in the relationship or couplehood where it's deemed as a betrayal or cheating, okay? So those are situations where I want people to understand what's going on. CBS News, I don't know if you're legit, but I appreciate you tuning in. So there's a lot of dynamics that a lot of people assume how, marriage counseling should go, or they have ulterior motives coming in. And there's times where, couples come in, like I said, one wants to save the marriage, the other partner, they had their mind made up, I'm done. And then you start talking and they sort of might change their mind a little bit. Maybe they're not done. So that could happen as well when you get to the reality and they feel heard. They feel understood. They feel validated on their feelings. And I tell people all the time, you have a right to feel what you feel, period. Okay? Now, what you feel could be based on a perception that's not accurate, right? That happens. But you still got a right to feel that way. But then how do you teach your partner, right? Hey, I get why you're mad. I get why you're hurt. But that's not what I said. I get why you're pissed. I get why you're upset. Again, you're validating your partner's feelings. You're connecting with how they feel. Then we can use logic and go on, that's not what was said. That's not what your sister said. That's not what your mom said. That's not what our son said, our daughter said. And to get to a possibility perspective, right? Oh, maybe I heard wrong. You know what? Maybe I did hear that wrong. You know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have got so upset and angry. Again, accountability and looking at possibilities. You get me? So it's changing the parameter, putting paradigm shifts in, the old textbook saying, right? Paradigm shifts into a couplehood, into that relationship where they can relate in a healthier way with each other. They can look at each other's perspective without feeling like they're being attacked, or they disagree and all of a sudden they don't love each other, like each other. They think the other one is dumb, stupid because you disagreed with them. Not at all. We can still disagree, right? And you can still love each other. It's how you work with that disagreement, and now what do you do to try to come to a compromise if possible? And there's sometimes, like I said, there's compromises that can't be had, or one person in that relationship or marriage is going to be miserable, okay? And I'm honest. So that's where I look at the situation. Do you want your partner to be miserable, or do you want both of you to sort of be in a healthier spot, a happier spot? And it's not always easy, people. So I wanted to give you some realities of marriage counseling when some people will bash. I've had it. When some people, they don't get what they want, and their partner, wife wants a divorce, husband wants a divorce. That didn't work. They were terrible. They should have made my wife not divorce me. They should have made my husband not divorce. And I'm like, what? Again, number one, it's not our job to decide that. It shouldn't be. It should be your job to decide that, and the marriage counselor helping you get to that point. And if two people want two different things, what do you do? Is it that you want things that are different? You want to live differently, and it's not that one's better than the other. It's more of a different thing. One person wants to be treated differently. And it's heartbreaking. I do this. It's my passion, okay? Why is it my passion? Because I want to help heal broken hearts, if possible. I want to heal trauma. I want to heal broken hearts, the arguing, fighting. That's why I do this. It's my passion. I hate broken hearts. Unfortunately, sometimes one person will have a broken heart, but it's also looking at, now, do you rebuild and promote self-love and self-respect, and looking at what does a healthier relationship look like after you've healed? Not easy. Not at all, okay? So you can check out my website. It's down below, people, theartofrelationships.org. And it's also my profile if you are listening on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. It would be in my profile, but I'll throw it out there, theartofrelationships.org. And follow me, like me. I'd be very flattered. At LoveGuruGreg on all social media. And again, every episode you can catch. Probably the easiest way is to go to YouTube and look up at LoveGuruGreg. You'll find me. And all the episodes I've done are on YouTube. They're on every platform, but that's probably the easiest to check out. And I'm actually getting ready to do a virtual, either using Zoom or another platform, a marriage seminar or workshop, and it's going to be cheap. It's going to be like $20 a couple, okay? It's going to be real cheap. So look for more information on that. It'll be like a 2-3 hour seminar, and it'll probably be on a Saturday, a Saturday or Sunday. Tends to be easier for a lot of people, okay? Hey, Shauna, what's happening? So that's where I want, I'm going to get more information out. I'm going to, post that on, social media as well. The date, I got to find a date yet. It'll be probably within the next 3-4 weeks. And like I said, it'll be cheap. It'll be like $20 a person, $20 a couple. Doesn't matter. You can be a couple, married, engaged, living together, not living together, married for a day, married for 50 years, doesn't matter. And it's going to be set up. I have it set up where I'm going to help try to promote what I'm talking about right now, to promote healing of betrayals, to promote arguing, fighting, to heal resentments in marriages and relationships. And I'm going to walk you through that. There's going to be handouts that you can actually fill out during the seminar and work on stuff and try to walk you through how you can help each other get to a happier place, okay? So look for more information about that. And again, I'm very flattered, very humble. I definitely appreciate you listening in and watching, okay? I know it's not easy and your time's valuable, okay? Take care. Peace and love, everybody. Bye-bye. Peace.